Hi, and welcome back to another video feature of the Immersive Worlds Handbook. Today I'm in Singapore at Coffemin. If you had a chance to see my other video on this innovative concept cafe in the city, you're quite aware with the fact that this is a new type of cafe for Singapore, and I would say for any other cultures around the world. The concept here is that you pay for the time that you use, as opposed to actually paying for, say, the cup of coffee or Wi-Fi or anything else like that that could be offered at an internet cafe. I was reading an interview with Jonathan Yee, who is the founder of Coffemin, and apparently the concept of this cafe came when he was in New Zealand, and he was basically having a meal, perhaps finishing a cup of coffee, and after he finished his meal, he decided that he needed to work a little longer, and apparently the restaurant staff asked him to leave. Now, what's interesting is that this is not an issue just for New Zealand, but specifically, if you read travel blogs and other sources about Singapore, you're quite aware of the fact that there are many students in the city, young people, and others who simply want to have a cup of coffee, read a book, check their internet, their Facebook, social media, and so forth. And so in a sense, I would call Coffemin an adaptation to local cultural constraints. I mean, it is a tough bargain, I would say, if you own a cafe and you're making money off of pastries and coffee, and students or others want to stay there longer after they've finished what they've eaten or gotten to drink. I think it presents a challenge because clearly you're losing revenue. So in a sense, this adaptation here is one involving time, with the specific concept being that you're paying for every 10 minutes that you spend at the cafe. And I think what's curious to me about Coffemin is the fact that they've established theming in their two locations, this one at Suntec Mall, the other one at Clarke Quay. The one at Clarke Quay actually, I noticed online, has theming relative to time and features clocks, whereas this one, as you may have heard in my other video feature about this cafe, features a nautical theme. And I think the other thing that is worth noting here is that Coffemin offers many experiences. So clearly, if you have your internet device, if you have your tablet, your phone, you could use the Wi-Fi there and check social media and so forth. At the same time, as you see in some of these photos, you can play a game of pool. There's also Xbox that allows you to play hundreds of possible games. There are some food offerings and coffee offerings. I did find these to be somewhat minimal, and I think if this cafe is attempting to establish itself as a combination experiential space and an actual internet Wi-Fi cafe, I think they may have to do something a bit more in terms of the food offerings and the coffee. The food when I visited happened to be some crackers and a few packages of Oreos. So for me, if I'm visiting a cafe, whether it's themed or not, I want to have a decent cup of coffee and snacks. And in this case, they don't offer you the opportunity to purchase anything. The attitude is you pay by the minute, so anything that's there you can certainly use. And I do think this is a very unique concept because, as I mentioned earlier, in Singapore, there have been issues with people lingering too long in some of the cafes. So perhaps this is a sign for the future, and it will be interesting to see if other branches of Coffemin open up in Singapore or similar cafes like this open up around the world. I hope you enjoyed this video feature here at Coffemin in Singapore. Please return for additional video features for the Immersive Worlds Handbook.